Hello guys, here's something a bit different for my channel. It's a wood burning video. Pyrography is the official title, but whenever I talk about it I just say that I'm burning boxes. This was a Christmas gift for my dear friend Laura, who I love to pieces. We went to Disneyland Paris together in September and I had the idea of combining our two big obsessions in a gift for her. I met Laura years and years and years ago through a mutual love of My Little Pony. We're both pony collectors. We've been pony collectors since, well, forever, but way before the new fandom and the bronies and all that lot came along. We met at UK PonyCon some time ago, I forget which one it was, and we were just bonkers and we became best mates. And yeah, I've known her a long time now, and we recently managed to go on holiday together to Disneyland Paris. We had 2 days in September over there, well 3 days, but 2 days in the parks, and it was just really awesome. And I had the idea to do a combined pony Disney gift for her. It was going to be a painting at first, and then I thought I would do something a little bit better and bigger. And the funny thing was, she gave me the most beautiful paper cut, I was going to say woodcut, paper cut framed of Pinkie Pie and Verity. Verity is my favourite G4 pony and Pinkie Pie's hers, at Disneyland Paris, and it was absolutely beautiful. And it was just so funny because I didn't actually give her this gift until after Christmas because I'm a really terrible friend, and I was putting off, I didn't want to send it because I figured I'd see her soon. I didn't end up seeing her until February, I think, so it was a long time coming. But I opened up her gift and I was like, oh no, she's going to think I'm copying her. But I guess it makes sense that of course we would combine the two things that we love so much. But yeah, I do wood burning. I don't do it very much, and I wouldn't say I was particularly good at it because I don't practice all that much, but I discovered the idea of wood burning a while ago, when a couple of years back, when I found a bunch of beautiful woodland wood-burned spoons and wooden bookmarks and things, and I really wanted to have a go at them myself. And I found out that the wood-burning tools, they don't start that expensive. They're quite cheap, they're quite affordable, especially if you just want to start out with something basic. And my mum kindly gave me one for Christmas a couple of years back, and I've dabbled with the odd wood-burned box here and there. I've sold a couple on Etsy. I've done ones with like Poros from League of Legends, and I've done a couple of like wolf ones. I did a Princess Luna one. And yeah, it's a funny skill because if you can draw, it's technically not that difficult in that you're basically just sketching over the lines. But it's not that simple also, because if your wood has any sort of grain at all, it catches the wood burner. It sort of, you can be dragging the nib along an even line, and you can just see on the top of the tower there, you can see a black blob, and that's where it got caught on a knot in the wood or a little bit of grain, or I held it there a tiny fraction too long and it sort of pooled almost a sort of burn, scorch around it. It gets incredibly hot. I accidentally just drifted it vaguely near its own wire while I was doing this box, and the smell of burning plastic and just, yeah, it wasn't great. It's a very dangerous little tool. I dropped one on the floor, and thank God it landed on something that didn't set on fire straight away and didn't melt straight away, but they are very hot. It's painful. I have been known to touch flesh with it, and it's not great, but it's also very fun. It's, if you get a nice smooth wood, it works really nicely. Some parts of this you can see has come out really nicely because that part of the wood is just really nice and smooth, and there's no knot in it smudge. There's no the grain isn't quite so strong there, I guess. I don't really know wooden like carpentry terms or anything. Any like proper wood burner or carpenter is going to be watching this going, what are you on about? But yeah, you can see, for example, when I try to do a sort of nice border, like a wooden border or something, and on one side, this side, you can see it went really smoothly and easily along because that was the grain, that was the direction of the grain. But when I tried to do it up and down, it just wasn't smooth at all. It kept catching. It was it looks smooth and easy on the video when it's been sped up, And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot easier than I thought it would be. I thought I was getting the wood burning tool and it would be impossible, but I was surprised with how easy you can manipulate it, and also how well you can cover up your mistakes if you do happen to make them. One mistake that I've noticed with this particular brand of wood burning tool is you see this sort of metal ridge under my hand. That gets hot. That's part of the tool with the rest of it. But it's very easy if you're used to drawing and painting like I am. You hold the pen at a certain angle, and it's very easy when you're trying to get into the details to accidentally slide that the ring onto the wood, and all of a sudden you've got a mark that you did not want to be there, and it can be annoying, and you've got to find a way of covering it up and making it look like you wanted it there in the first place. The art of flubbering and lying. That's really annoying. I don't know what happened there. I was in the middle of talking about random nonsense on this video, and then I noticed that it hadn't actually, I got to the end of the video and then I noticed that it just cut off recording my voice. I guess it was sick of me, I don't know. So that just destroyed my train of thought. I don't know what I was saying. I've had to repeat myself now because I've already recorded this once, or not, as the case may be. Oh, how annoying. I don't know what I was saying. Maybe I was talking about the nib. Let's talk about the nib. This wood burning tool came with a series of nibs. I feel really dumb because I've just said all this. It came with about 4 or 5 different nibs as a starter thing. I don't use any of them apart from this one. You can change them all. They're very simple. But this is the only one I use because I'm used to doing the inking, like pretending I'm inking essentially, and it's a very good fine line. The one thing I will say with it is that when it gets hot, it gets soft, and if you apply too much pressure, as I do, because again I'm used to using markers and inking and things, it tends to bend a little, and I've already had to replace the nib once. Luckily you can buy them cheap replacements on Amazon, because I tried foolishly to unbend it while it was cooling and the whole thing snapped off, and yeah, that wasn't great. But it's a nice easy replacement, and it's just something to be aware of. I think the other nibs are a little thicker. You've got different shapes. You've got one which is like a solid flat disc, so I guess it's meant to be for like shading or branding or something. I don't really know. I'm sure there are some really wonderful tutorials on YouTube from people far more talented than I that explain it, but this is how I do it. This is how I'm teaching myself to do it, and yeah, it's surprisingly simple. Like I say, it's not as simple as inking would be, obviously, but I kind of thought that I would try it once, it would be too hard and I would never do it again, because that's kind of how I am with a whole bunch of crafts. I tend to buy loads and loads of things because I say I'm going to be crafty. Loads of people do it, like knitting or sewing or scrapbooking, card making, and I buy all the supplies and I give it a go, and it's impossibly too hard, and it's like, I don't want to do this, I'm not doing this, and they go in a box for later, and then like 6 months down the line I might find them and try it again and realise why I put them in the box in the first place. So yeah, but yeah, I don't really know what else to say that I haven't already said. Thank you, Magix Movie Edit Pro. These are markers. I didn't have the guts to use paints, so I decided to use some markers to just liven up the image. I wasn't sure if I was going to leave it just the wooden effect at first, and I decided to give it a pop of colour, and originally I was just going to do the border, and then I was just going to do the pink of the castle and the pink of Pinkie Pie, and then by the end of it you'll see I pretty much did the whole thing. I like markers for it. They took so beautifully well, they blended nicely, they layered beautifully on the wood. I wasn't expecting that, but I got a piece of wood before I did this and tried it, and I left it in the windowsill in the limited sun we have in December, and I wanted to see if they would fade, and they hadn't, and they haven't so far, and they hadn't by the time I did this, so hopefully it means it's a good, long-lasting gift, she says. Maybe in like a year's time Laura's going to say, so yeah, about that box that you gave me. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what to say because I've already said this once. I'm so cross with Movie Edit Pro. Here I'm using Sharpies. I got a set of, these are just a simple set of Sharpies. They came in bronze, gold, silver and copper, and again I didn't really have the guts to paint, so I decided to use the Sharpies I've got. And here you can see I'm using small markers, and I'll go into the background in a minute. I'm actually using paint. You know, I did brave it, but you can see I very quickly gave up because I didn't have the guts. I'm not very good with paints, and especially not when I've nearly finished the image and I was so scared I might mess it up somehow. So I started using this pen, and this is one of those. I hate this pen so much, but it's so good for what I wanted it for. It's one of those ones where you have to shake and then squidge the nib to get the white ink out, like a chalkboard pen almost. It's really, really stinky, and the lid came flying off while I was shaking it, so I was not best amused by the whole thing, but it served the purpose lovely. And then I start using one of those tiny little rollerball white pens for all the details, and it took to the box really, really well. It took to the wood better than it often takes to paper. I don't know if other artists find this, but when you're like drawing with markers and that and you try and go over, sometimes the rollerball just doesn't want to rollerball. It's really annoying. I don't know, I've tried so many different brands of white gel pen and they just all seem to be complete pains. So I don't know, maybe it's just something I'm doing wrong, but it took really nicely to the wood, and it ended up making some beautiful little details. I was really happy with how it looked on the brickwork of the castle. So, yeah. Well, I hope it took this time. I hope it's recorded my voice all the way through this time, because I'm quite happy with it. And yeah, I just hope you enjoyed the change of pace and seeing something a little bit different on my channel. If you guys like it, maybe I'll upload some more box videos and wood burning in general. I do a lot of geeky wood burning for conventions, and like I said, I've sold quite a bit on Etsy. So it is something I'm interested in doing. It's something I have a lot of fun doing. So if you guys would like to see more, please just tell me and I'll happily record it, because it was a lot of fun and it's nice to change the pace a little bit here on the channel. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!